So right now we're going to learn about simplifying radicals. Number 1 says write the list of perfect squares. So you know that 4 is the perfect square because the square root of 4 is equal to 2. 9 is a perfect square because the square root of 9 is equal to 3. 16 is a perfect square because the square root of 16 is equal to 4. If you notice, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. So a whole number squared is equal to a perfect square. So if we want to write a list of our perfect squares, we have 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 169. And it keeps going. Oh, I forgot 144. It keeps going on, but we can just list those for now. When you're simplifying radicals, you have to keep in mind what those perfect square numbers are, because we want to really split up 48 into 2 factors, one being a perfect square. So we want to split it up. So what's the largest perfect square that you can think of that will go into 48? So meaning that's a factor of 48. So 16 is actually going to be it. So we split this up into the square root of 16 and the square root of whatever would be left over after dividing out 16, which is 3. Because 6 times 3 is equal to 48. Now you can look between these two and say, can you simplify 16 or can you simplify 3? And I mean the square root of 16 or the square root of 3. You know that the square root of 16 is actually 4, so we can simplify square root of 16 to be 4 or rewrite it. And then we'll also write 3 because we can't simplify the square root of 3 anymore because 3 is a prime number. So if you simplify the square root of 48, you have the 4 times the square root of 3. We can try one more. So now we want to simplify the square root of 75. So what you should be thinking in your head is, what is the largest perfect square that goes into 75? So in the back of your mind, or maybe on a post-it, you might want to list all of the perfect squares so that you can easily think of them when looking at a number that you're trying to simplify. So I would say to myself, okay, does 4 go into 75? Does 9 go into 75? Does 16 go into 75? Does 25 go into 75? And you're trying to develop, like, what is the biggest number? So I know that 25 goes into 75, so that's probably going to be the biggest or the largest perfect square that's a factor of 75. So I can split this up into the square root of 25 and the square root of 3. It's not always going to be the square root of 3. It just so happened that this is happening. So the square root of 25 we know is going to be 5, and we can't simplify square root of 3 anymore, so it stays as the square root of 3. So you want to try simplifying square root of 24, and on the back of your paper, I'd like you to try a challenge problem. Write on the back of your paper 2 times the square root of 32. See if you can try this problem.